Whoa, episode 10. That's almost 100. Better make it one to remember. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, and this review is going to be structured a bit differently than the others. Due to the insanely complex nature of this game, and my desire to accurately explain it to the best of my abilities, I'm going to split it into segments. All of them will be timestamped below, so if you want to skip to a certain part, you can do that. With that out of the way, let's jump into the Nonary game once more and give it everything we've got! This is my review of Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward. Originally released for the 3DS and PS Vita in 2012, Virtue's Last Reward is a much different beast than 999, despite the similar results. While 999... No, we're not doing that again! Anyway, while 999 had a heavy emphasis on its horror elements, VLR dials back on those in favor of science fiction, mystery, and exploration. That said, it's still a visual novel. Oh, sorry, this game switched out the 2D drawings for 3D models, and they still don't sit well with me. Where was I? Oh yeah, the differences. Unlike 999, VLR was made with a sequel in mind, so they expanded on the universe a lot more and really left the doors open for a third installment. However, all the changes made didn't mean shit in Japan, as this game was also a commercial failure. Its success yet again in North America wasn't enough to fully save the series, as the third installment was postponed until eventually releasing in 2016. But which response did this game deserve? Commercial failure or cult classic status? Let's find out. This game starts off very similar to 999, with the protagonist being captured by a strange gas-masked individual, or as I like to call them, the people that took the 2020 pandemic too seriously. This time, the main character is Sigma Klim, who speaks in Morse code apparently. He awakens in a strange elevator-like contraption with this girl who acts exactly as you'd expect her to based on her appearance, Phi. I'm sure their names mean something, but it's Greek to me. This is the first instance of the escape puzzles in this game, and they work a bit differently now. Instead of solving puzzles in an effort to escape a room, you are now solving puzzles to open a safe. There's also difficulties now. Well, I say that, but your only options are normal and hard. Normal will provide you with more clues and hints, while hard gives you less, while also containing a secret second safe solution that unlocks bonus content. I played the whole game on hard, because I'm a big boy. After escaping the elevator, you are introduced to the rest of the unfortunate participants in this game. And they are certainly something, alright? The worst example in this trilogy of female characters who may as well not be wearing clothes at all who first appeared at the end of 999, Alice! This game's cute cinnamon roll who wants everyone to work together and seems to have a sort of connection to Sigma, Luna! The wonderfully dressed and dauntingly intelligent man who stands alone and lives as free as his soul allows, Dio! The stubborn and grumpy old man who seems really out of place amongst all these 20-somethings, which definitely doesn't mean he's important, Tenmyoji! Tenmyoji's adopted grandson who doesn't deserve like half the shit that happens to him in this game even though he's an annoying child, Quark! Fun fact, he hides snacks in those pouches. The robot who is holding up a hate symbol in his official artwork despite the fact that she's one of the biggest pacifists in the group, K! Yes, just K, like N. And the girl who's back for more despite looking and acting completely different and wearing an outfit I could never imagine her growing up to wear, and I still haven't gotten over how much I hate it, Clover! Also, I guess Clover was never a code name and just a coincidence? In what is basically a spiked Chunsoft staple, the second installment in the trilogy has the most amount of characters I like. While I said the first cast is my overall favorite, that's mostly because there aren't any characters I actively dislike. And while I don't really care for Dio, Quark, or this version of Clover, I really like Sigma, Phi, Luna, Tenmyoji, and K. Like many of these scenarios, it's best not to get attached, and that's proven when this game's Zero shows up. Zero the Third! I don't know what kind of freaky shit Zero got up to if his lineage includes a rabbit, or where the fuck Zero the Second went, but I digress. Zero the Third, despite being very similar to the main antagonist of another spiked Chunsoft property, is a fun character that you love to hate. He introduces himself as the host of the Nonary Game, Ambidex Edition, but I'm just gonna call it the Ambidex Game. Much like the second Nonary Game, this one's all about bracelet numbers, but it works a bit differently this time. Instead of everyone having a different numbered bracelet, everyone has a 3 and the word pair or solo. The number represents how many bracelet points, or BP, they have, and the goal of the Ambidex game is to get to 9 BP and open the 9 door. In order to do so, they have to go through doors that are the same color as the text on their bracelets, called chromatic doors, with whomever they are paired with, if anyone. Then they'll be placed in a prisoner's dilemma situation with another group or individual. You have to choose whether you will ally or betray the group you are paired with, while also considering what they might do. If you both choose ally, you both get 2 BP. Sounds good, right? Well, if one chooses ally and the other chooses betray, the betrayer gets 3 BP and the other loses 2. And if both people choose betray, it's a zero-sum game. Oh, also, if your BP drops to 0, you die. So how's that for stakes? What follows is a game of shallow trust and quick betrayals as you explore more of the strange location you're in, which you eventually learn is called Rhizome 9, with an ever-changing partner thanks to the pair system. While the escape rooms are more complicated this time around and involve a lot more moving parts, they are fun breaks from the novel sections. Plus, the Ambidex game constantly keeps you on your toes as everyone takes different approaches to get 9 BP. And just like 999, your choices lead to different branching paths that you can eventually revisit with the flowchart. And if you don't think the developers had a bad case of sequelitis, just look at this flowchart! The amount of endings has jumped from 6 to 22! And the amount of required endings has jumped from 2 to 11! I'll go over this in more detail in the spoiler section in a minute, but this can be a bit confusing and replaying large portions with slight differences can feel a bit tedious. But it could be much worse. Despite a bit of tedium, my interest in the story never dropped, as new threads and developments are constantly being introduced as you fumble to put together a theory that connects everything. However, much like the Mandarin, the Phantom Thieves, or SummerSlam 2020, you'll never see it coming, although the truth may hit too close to home for some people. Now, I highly suggest you go play this game for yourself, or find a playthrough of it, or just skip the next section, because we're about to spoil this like it's milk sitting out on a hot summer day. Also known as Sable's favorite section. The reason only half of the endings are required is because each character has their own ending along with their own game over, and some have 2 game overs to boost the numbers. What makes this system much more complicated than before is that all 11 of the endings have to be achieved in a particular order, as one character's ending will serve as a key to unlock another route you can take in a different timeline to get a different ending, and repeat over and over again, so have fun piecing that together. I'm going to give a general overview of what you learn about each character instead of running through each ending individually because I don't hate myself. Clover and Alice are actually government agents tasked with taking down a group known as Free the Soul, who are responsible for spreading the Radical 6 virus that destroyed the world. Dio is a member of Free the Soul and is a clone of someone named Left, while the entire group is led by someone only known as Brother. He was sent to Rhizome 9, which is actually on the moon, to stop the Ambidex game. Tenmyoji is actually Junpei from the first game, just aged since this game takes place in the future. Tenmyoji is his last name and he only joined the game to find Akane. Kei is actually 2 people. Depending on the timeline, he's either a clone of Sigma named Kyle, or he's the aged Akane Kurashiki. It depends on whether or not Dio successfully kills Akane before the Ambidex game begins. Luna is actually a highly advanced robot built by Sigma known as a Golem. And Sigma is many things. Primarily, Sigma is the mysterious Zero Senior, the one who created the Ambidex game. He also doesn't look as spry as his art suggests. He's actually an old-ass man with one eye and robotic arms. How, you asked? Complicated time travel paradox is how.
See, that's the thing about time travel, Barry. The more you do it, the less the rules apply to you.
But in the immortal words of DX, let's break it down. The opening of the game isn't Sigma being kidnapped and taken to Rhizome 9, it's Sigma's young consciousness being propelled into his older body, while his older consciousness is pushed into his younger body. Young Sigma's consciousness then has to participate in the Ambidex game with Phi to hone both of their abilities to jump through time and timelines, so that young Sigma's consciousness can then be sent back to right when the Earth starts to be destroyed, which then allows young Sigma to become Zero Senior and create the Ambidex game to keep the paradoxical circle going until old Sigma's consciousness in young Sigma's body can prevent the Radical 6 outbreak in Nevada and save the world. If you thought the first game was confusing, I'm sorry for the mess, as your brain has no doubt leaked out of your ears by now. But don't worry, this is the most confusing part in the trilogy. Overall, Virtue's Last Reward is a step up from 999 in many ways. There are more characters I like, the 3D models, while a bit jarring, do allow for more characters to emote, the plot twists are interesting and clever, and the story is written and executed very well. However, The whole paradox situation has been amplified probably way too far. I liked the inclusion of previous characters like Junpei and Akane and how they tied into everything, but at the same time, the Clover in this game is only the Clover from 999 in name alone. But for all its faults, it's still a very memorable experience that I highly suggest, especially if you enjoyed the predecessor. 7 out of 10. This is your captain speaking, and next time we look at a game I can only remember parts of. I hope to see you there!